Hi, my name is Ryan Sawatzky. In 2008, I started a foundation specifically for the support and advocacy of SOPUDEP. SOPUDEP, or Society of Providence United for the Economic Development of Pétionville, is a Haitian founded and run social organization located in Port-au-Prince. The main focuses are on providing free and accessible education to both adults and children, on women's rights, and on economic development for the chronically poor. Our foundation has specifically been working with SOPUDEP's K-12 school, which started in 2002 and teaches children from kindergarten to grade 12. SOPUDEP co-founder and director Ria Dahl and her staff have really turned this into Port-au-Prince's most progressive schools, by which it is a school that provides free and accessible education to the poorest children in the community. While some students only pay what they can afford, around $10 or less a month, well over half attend completely for free. This is very rare in Haiti, where the average private school can cost upwards of $500, and even some of the very few public schools can still charge for materials. Because of this, only 40% of children will ever step foot inside of a school, and only 4% will ever graduate. I know the importance SOPUDEP plays as community leaders, but on January 12, 2010, their responsibility as leaders was increased exponentially. With little to no help from international aid, SOPUDEP had to come to their community's rescue. The area of Morne Lazarre is where SOPUDEP's school resides. This part of Port-au-Prince also lies directly over the fault line, and the damage here suffered from the earthquake was immense. Out of 300 homes in the area, only 3 remain standing. SOPUDEP's school building was one of these that survived the quake. Within hours after the quake, SOPUDEP director Ria Dahl went to work on organizing search and rescue parties and turned the school into a shelter and makeshift hospital. People with less severe injuries were brought to the school, and ones needing immediate medical attention were hiked down the hill as far as 5 miles away to where there was hospitals with surgeons on staff. Because of SOPUDEP School's Hot Lunch program, a program that feeds hundreds of students, teachers, and other members of the community on a daily basis, Ria developed a good relationship with this wholesale food vendor. And within a week after the earthquake, Ria was able to secure massive quantities of food on credit to start a food ration program. This program fed thousands of desperate families all over Port-au-Prince and beyond. Money provided by Haiti Emergency Relief Fund and our foundation, the Sawatzky Family Foundation, went to buy even more food, and this critical program was able to run for 5 months. Ria herself was featured in a New York Times video about this very program and SOPUDEP's other efforts in the community after the earthquake. During this time, SOPUDEP went back to the focus of reopening the school, and in May they did, albeit a very simplified version. Enrollment before the quake was around 560, and now it is down to about 330 because many families had to move down the hill into camps. Ria still tries to keep in contact with them and is driven to find out the whereabouts of all our students. The final numbers are not yet in, but sadly 31 students are known to be dead along with 2 teachers. Ria saw the school in whatever form being beneficial to her students, to get them out of the camps and back into a routine. But the teachers' resources are very limited, and there is a lack of textbooks. So therefore, all lessons must be written out on a chalkboard, which is tedious to say the least. But that is the dedication of SOPUDEP's teachers. They even went as far to take basic training in psychology to better help their students, who are showing signs of post-traumatic stress after the earthquake. The trauma suffered from the earthquake is great, and no one wants to go back inside the old school. So they teach under tarps on school property. And because the area in which they are located in has been so damaged, with its reconstruction being years away, very few people remaining, and the uncertainty of being able to renew their lease in 2012, they feel that this building may no longer be of much use to the community. And so they are moving down the hill to a piece of property that was purchased for them last year. And a new school is already underway thanks to a group of architects and engineers from New Mexico calling themselves World Hands Alliance. These dedicated and very generous professionals do pro bono work all over the Third World. In the meantime, however, a group of students from Ryerson University in Toronto, Canada, came up with a temporary solution to the classroom problems. These classrooms, which can be used as shelters as well, are made using locally grown bamboo. They are hurricane-proof and earthquake-proof, and have already shown their resilience in rough weather. And beyond the construction of a new school, they also want to spread their mandate of free and accessible education to other parts of Port-au-Prince. And for 2010, a new school has been added under the SOPUDEP umbrella. The Petite Amis de SOPUDEP is a very small school of 100 students and 5 teachers. But over the past couple of years, RIA has helped out by providing food for their students and even paying the teachers if they can. The director, Jarel Lafleur, has incorporated SOPUDEP's system of affordable education. I traveled to see RIA in July of 2010, and RIA took me to visit his school. I was so struck by his dedication to teach his students, even though they had no money. I said I would find a way to fund their staff and provide money for supplies. Not knowing if donor support at that time could provide for both the school and the other SOPUDEP, the Sawatzky Family Foundation has decided that until funding is secure, we will pay for the school out of our own pocket. It is absolutely essential that more programs like this exist in Haiti. Basic education in Haiti has never been a right, but a privilege for the rich. Another education program SOPUDEP is pursuing is for the many street kids that live in Port-au-Prince. In January of 2009, SOPUDEP started a street kid education and skills trade program, where these children are not only taught their ABCs, but also receive training in a trade skill to be used on the street. Some are even provided the necessary equipment to start their own businesses. A partner in this program is Stephen Kirby from Nashville, Tennessee. He volunteered his time to get the street kid program going, and has a passion for it so much so that he started his own charity called Hero. While I was down visiting RIA that July, we traveled up to a makeshift camp to have a meeting with one of her women's groups. I have known about RIA's work in women's rights, but I have never seen it firsthand. We met her group inside of a tiny old classroom in one of the still intact buildings on the outskirts of the camp. RIA and her group explained how hard it is to be a woman and mother in Haiti, especially after the earthquake. Many women in Haiti are victims of emotional, physical, sexual abuse, and discrimination. 70% of women are also the sole providers for their children. After the earthquake, more than 1.5 million are living in camps, which has intensified the hardship of everyday life. Subsequently, abuses suffered by women are rising. Food tickets handed out at the camps and throughout Port-au-Prince are generally given to men to distribute. After friends and family are given tickets, often these men trade food tickets to desperate women for sexual favors. RIA has first-hand accounts of these incidents. It is the women who also must stand for hours in these food ration lines in the stifling heat. This is why RIA started a microcredit program for her women's group in March of 2010. Women able to make their own work might be able to avoid these stifling lines, don't have to give their bodies for food in a moment of desperation, and may find a way to support their children with absent husbands or boyfriends, or a way to leave abusive ones. RIA started Femmes SOPUDEP en Action, Women of SOPUDEP in Action, in March of 2010. Since then, she has put 81 women to work. This is just a small cross-section of what SOPUDEP does within their community. Why are they important? They are a social group with the poor majority in mind. Haitian organizations such as this are crucial to the rebuilding of a country. This is not just education and job creation. It is the building of a country from the ground up.